law firms, but it also occurs in non-legal workplaces as well, that because of lack of management skills, people will be hired, and then a short time into their tenure at the workplace, they're let go because management had a change of heart. Yet what's left in the rubble are that we as employees have to deal with this. And one of the things that was always tough for me as a business owner was letting someone go. And I knew they had families and I knew they needed the income, but because of financial stress or whatever it was, or closing my business, I had to let them go. I was leaving the business myself most of the time. But in this scenario, this isn't the case. This is lack of management skills and not, oh, hello, how are you? I'm going to put my glasses back on. Thanks for being here with me. It's kind of glary right here, so it's hard to see the comments, but please comment and I will try to read them. So, what is left in the rubble are the employees, and their feelings, and their egos are bashed, and everything negative, right? Hey, oh, thank you very much. Good for you. So what should you do? And does this happen in every law firm out there? No, it doesn't. Or every legal department of a corporation? No. In a corporation, they have hard and fast rules they have to operate by. I've worked primarily as a paralegal in private law firms. So were there problems? Yes, there are problems in management and how they deal with issues, and continuity, and understanding that they cannot do certain things. Hi, Nancy. Yeah, well, this occurs, and it's really, it's not daunting just because it's the first job. It's daunting if it's the 10th job in while you're in the field, right? And I don't care. It would be daunting now, and I've been in the field for 31 years. So it's hard to accept it, but I've got to have, where I've been let go because an attorney left the firm and it was shocking to me. I didn't see it coming. That's always shocking. Or they switched my job and put me in more of an administrative assistant position. And there was no logic to that at all. And the people doing it had no knowledge that there were different types of jobs within the law firm. They really were ignorant. So what do you do though if this happens to you? You've really got to shake the dust off your feet. You've got to brush it off, and you've got to get back on the horse and keep going. Now, I've heard comments that, well, but those jobs are so hard to come by. There are jobs out there, and what I find out is that people are not interviewing correctly. Number one, they're not sending out a proper cover letter, and yes, I teach that. And you can look in previous videos in the description box, and you'll see, I really encourage you to go check out the free, no charge, Paralegal Resource Hub. Go to a previous video of mine, look in the description box, and you'll see many links. One's the Paralegal Resource Hub. There are links to my classes. I do teach how to interview in Paralegal Inner Circle class, and much more in that class. And then there's a Cover Letter Secrets class. But there are several free items in there, or a few, in that description box in one of the previous, more recent videos, okay? So go check that out later. You have to understand you're building a career, and you protect that career, and you're building almost like a little business for yourself. That's your career. If you keep looking at it as being an employee, then you'll be at their beck and call and you'll just have to take what they dish out. But when you build a career, you start to have more flexibility and when you're strategic about it. So what happens if this happens to you? Well, when they switched my career to a different type of position, I just went to the managing partner nicely. And the next day, I gave myself 24 hours to settle down and get more clarity and then talk. And he was great. And they switched me back to the other position within 6 weeks. It took 6 weeks to do that. Okay. So I was grateful for that, but I could not fathom the lack of maturity in the management. Okay. And so I eventually left that law firm and actually worked with the senior partner at the next law firm in establishing some structure for managing deadlines. Okay. So, they didn't have that in place, and that can cause an attorney a lot of problems. So should you leave the legal field if something like this happens? No. If you're drawn to the legal field, you're pulled to it. Don't let this type of nonsense stop you. And it's not that I can, I say that from no experience. I say it from 31 years of experience and losing my job no fewer than 3 times because of layoffs. Law firm was disintegrating, an attorney was leaving, going to another law firm. Attorneys leaving, that happened to me 3 times. So yes, it was always shocking, but I had to, if I had to cry it out, I cried it out, gnash my teeth a little bit for 24 hours and then go back to finding a better place to work. Now let's get to that point. The interview process is not just for them to interview you. What I teach in my Paralegal Inner Circle class is how to interview properly. And you may think you have it nailed, but I have so many people who don't ask questions and they wonder why they didn't get the job. Attorneys want people who ask questions, not about benefits and vacation time and 401ks, but other more serious questions, okay? But you need to ask questions. For what reason? So you understand what you are getting into. Are you noticing red flags? And maybe you don't want to notice those red flags because you're desperate to land your first job or your 10th job, and you don't want to have them bypass you, so you don't ask questions. That's not what they want. They want you to ask questions, but those questions are for you to get information so you can say to yourself, yeah, I want to work there. Now you can be 90% sure that you've gotten as close as you can to understanding what they're about, what that law firm is like, what that attorney is like that wants you to work for him or her. But there's that other 10% that's up there in the air that you can't be 100% sure. So those questions are for you to get closer and closer to understanding, do I really want to work there? And what are the red flags? And one interview I had and I landed the job, 2 paralegals had quit on the same day, and they did that on purpose. And I found out why. I took that job and I should have seen those red flags. That's major red flag. And most of the time they won't tell you that they quit on the same day, or, they will just say one person left, they moved, but they quit. And I knew that was a red flag. That's a job I should never have taken. I was only there for 4 hours until I left because that's how bad it was. So asking questions, and what was a question that I should have asked? Why did they leave? Now, they may have not owned up to that in the interview. They may have skirted that issue, and then that would have been a red flag to me. double red flags. So I hope this is helpful. It's not for you to be stagnant if you lose your job. And for me, I had no other option but to get back on the horse, to get back into interviewing, sending my resume, cover letter out, because I had a family to support. There's no downtime allowed, and especially at that time, because it was only me working. And it took my husband 3 years to find a job in the area we moved to. So, and when he did, that took a lot of pressure off. But what I did was I took my father's advice. Don't leave a job unless you have a job, if at all possible. But when somebody lets you go, you're without a job, and oh my gosh, where's the health care and where's my paycheck? See, so that's scary, right? And a lot of us have been through that. So it's time to make sure that even if you land that first job, make sure that your resume and cover letter are ready to go at all times. Don't get comfortable. Don't become complacent. If you're too comfortable, that's when I have found, when I'm not keeping up with the job market and knowing what jobs are open in my area, that's when something happens, and then I have to start from scratch. But if I'm really aware of what's happening around me and who's hiring, then I know I can just ship my resume off right away and hopefully land the job. Okay? So remember, in many of my videos, I'm going to show you this. I hold up a notebook. When you land your first job, or even if you're in I don't care if you're in your 10th job, your 10th position, you should know everything you know. And you should be tracking all of your knowledge in a notebook for software, anything technical, and then anything regarding the areas of law you're in. Okay, what do you know how to do? You start from the moment you start your first job, you should be tracking that so that you don't lose, you'll forget things, and you've got to be able to explain that when you interview for the next job. Okay, that's a big tip. All right, so any questions, comments, let me know. You can always post a comment below. Thank you for being here with me today. Again, go to one of the previous videos, the most recent videos, look in the description box and click on the link for the hub. And there's a link, there's a webinar link there. And what else? I think there's a third freebie there for you. Okay, and then you'll see the links for the classes. All right, so have a great day, and I will talk to you in the next video. Take care. Thanks for being here.